welcome back to Shanahan Militaria. Today's video, it's an unboxing of A-Type. I tried to shoot this video earlier on, but unfortunately when I went to edit it, it had corrupted, so I had to shoot it again. So thankfully everything is still in the box. So I'm just going to open it up and go through what arrived. A bit of backstory behind this collection. It is an actual collection. A chap that I deal with, it's also an banner collector up in the north. Gary, you know who you are. His son was getting out of the hobby of collecting, reenacting, so I was given the opportunity to buy this collection. Now it is mainly American reproduction, mainly American World War II reproduction, but there is some British World War II items in here. And I should say there are original items in here as well also. So when I was given the opportunity to buy the collection, I don't really collect American stuff, but then I said, you know, it'd be good to have comparisons from American kit to British kit. So that's what I ended up doing. So the first two things that we have here out of the box are liners for the M1 helmet. Now if you've seen a few previous videos back, we are doing a restoration project on an M1 helmet, so these liners will come in handy. One has its sweatband, one doesn't have its sweatband, so but thankfully we'll make a good liner between the two of them. So that's good to have for that restoration project. Now I believe the chap was trying to put together a military police impression, because there's an awful lot of American military police stuff here. So the first item that I'm going to take out in relation to military police is this. This is the M29, I believe, don't quote me, but it is their duty belt, or for a 1911 holster. Now this would have been worn when they were in the UK of doing public patrols, things like that, in and around the towns, guarding against soldiers that were drunk and disorderly on duty, or not on duty, on weekend leave, things like that. So they have the white belt. You do see them as well outside general's headquarters, division headquarters, things like that, wearing the white in period photographs. So as I said, it comes with a 1911 holster. You have the white duty belt, you have a first aid kit, or a first aid kit pouch as well. This is a baton pouch, and then you have the 1911 pistol holder. It's not set up correctly, but we'll get around to it. So that's the pistol belt. Now we have another field version of it, which would have been used by military police and general soldiers in the actual field. So again, you have the 1911 pistol holder, you have the first aid pouch. On this one though, you have the M1910 canteen, and then you have the ammo pouch as well, again for the 1911. So there's the field version of the white belt, shall we say. So the next items that we come to, then we have two Garrison Caps. Now this one is reproduction, but this one is original, I believe. You have blue piping. The blue piping represents infantry, and then this is a later war variant where you have the combined airborne, where you have glider troops and paratrooper cap badge. Now if you do come across an original one of these, check to see if it's heavier towards the cap badge. The soldiers were known for being out on the town at weekends to stitch a coin behind this cap badge for a bit of protection, or a cosh if they got in fights. So if you ever do come across an original one, check to see if it's heavier towards the badge end of it. And then this one, same again, blue piping. Now this is a summer version. Blue piping can indicate that it's infantry again. This is the summer version, as I said, and I believe it is original, because you have sweat marks and stuff on the inside of the bend where the markings are. So that's another original item. And then here we have a British item. Original again. There's actually a service number on it on the border, and there is a service number on the inside of it here as well. So this is your soldier's hold on. that was used to carry his toothbrush, toothpaste, hairbrush, things like that, or comb. I have another original item of these, but this is the it's a heavier version, so we're going to compare the two in a video, and just to check the differences between them. As I said, a lot of this original reproduction stuff I got for the simple fact that we can compare it with original stuff. Here we have a haversack for the Mark II gas mask, I believe, light gas mask. This is original as well, also, I believe. You can see here at the back or at the bottom where it has something has leaked in on it, and you just know of an original item by the feel of it, the stitching, things like that. So this is original, as I believe. So that's another perfect thing. Up banner as well, for those of you that collect up banner items. These would have been the respirator haversacks that they initially went into in the start of up banner with the British soldiers. I actually have a respirator there that fits into it, and I didn't have a haversack for it, so that's perfect. This then here is a little die-cast table model for Lancaster bomber. I actually have a stand here for it, but another little interesting little item for a desk mount or a desk piece. Next thing here we have is, what did I say the designation on this was again? This is an M6. This is the military designation for this, also known as the boot knife. Famous knife that you see on with the paratroopers having it on their leg. There was two reasons for that. One, yes, if for self-defense. The other was if they landed into trees when they parachuted down, that it was easier for them to get at their leg, to get their knife out, to cut the shrouds, to get them out of the tree. Now this is a reproduction. It is a reproduction. As you can see, the bayonet is pretty much the same as the blade is pretty much the same as a bayonet. Now these were also issued to gentlemen that didn't have bayonets, so the likes of carbine gunners, Thompson gunners, grease gun operators, 30 caliber machine gunner operators, 50 caliber machine gun operators would have been issued this as a backup weapon. So that's another good little item to have. We'll go through some of the bigger items first before. Now this is an original, you see it on the inside, British peak cap. Now I'd say it is late 40s, early 50s. I can't find a date on it. I have been looking to try and find a date on it, but from the style and from the look of it, I believe it's late 40s, early 50s. I'm not sure the regiment. I know artillery wear something along the lines of this, so I'll just have to do a bit more research into it before I actually put a cap badge on it. But another perfect, nice little original item to part of the collection. Now this, I believe, is reproduction, and I'm not 100% sure is it Air Force or Army, but the Army and the Air Force were the same at the time, so I'm just wondering which cap badge it actually is. I'm going towards Air Force because of the style of it. I'd say this has been used in reenactments and stuff. It does have a bit of wear on the inside of it, but I do think this is a reproduction. I'm not sure. I'd have to do a bit more research. I'm not 100% on the American items. It does have a bit of wear on the inside of it, but I just don't know if it's original. When you look at the peak and stuff, it just looks too fresh for it to be an original item. So that's to one side. Next item then here we have, these are your famous K-rashes. Now these are later war variants. Well, you would have seen them throughout the war. You do see them with colour packets. There was a green striped, a blue and a red, if I believe, to indicate different types of menu. So this one is the dinner, this one is supper, this one is breakfast. And on the back then you have the contents. So the contents is 1 tin of meat, 1 pack of brown biscuits, 1 pack of fruit biscuits, 1 pack of beverage, 1 pack of coffee, 1 pack of caramels, 1 chocolate bar, 1 stick of gum, sorry, cigarettes, matches, latrine paper, and then you have the packed by manufacturer on the bottom. Reproduction items again also, but they're good to have as shelf fillers, display items if you're going to reenactment, schools, things like that. As I discussed in a video before, I have no issue with reproduction items once you are not trying to pass them off as reproduction, or sorry, I have no issue with reproduction items once you are not trying to pass them off as original items. When you're dealing with the public at reenactments and things like that, when you're dealing with the public at schools, things like that, it is better for them to be handling a reproduction than it is an original, especially the World War II stuff at this stage. You're going on 100 years nearly now. So the next items that we will bring out, now this is original. This is the late 40s, early 50s version of the Coca-Cola bottle. How you can tell the dates, I actually did a bit of checking. There's no braille at the bottom, there's no manufacturer or nothing at the bottom of the bottle, and it actually says, rather than Coca-Cola TM, it's actually physically written trademark restricted. So I don't know if the camera will bring that up, but that's a way to tell, according to the Coca-Cola's website, how to tell the difference in the bottles. We have reproduction soap. I'm not sure of this regiment's designation or this group's designation. I know they were the first special forces type. They were a combined unit of Canadians and Americans. And then you have the 101st Airborne, obviously. These are reproduction boxes for soap that was given to them, or were given to the public that they could get their hands on, just as to make them feel that they were part of the war. I'm not 100% sure why they did it. Now we have little bags here. So here, as I said, I believe that he was trying to put together a military police impression. So there's the military police armband. You have a medic's armband, or a stretcher bearer's armband. These disappeared quickly throughout the war when they realised that they were being basically a white target on their arm. So you see this disappearing. Now I'm not 100% sure on all these, but I'll just cover the ones that I do know. Obviously you have the 82nd Airborne, you have the 101st Airborne, and then this one is the 3rd ID, or the 3rd Infantry Division. Famous character, or famous individual that served with the 3rd Infantry Division was a guy by the name of Audie Murphy. He was the most decorated American soldier of the Second World War. Irish generations back in his family. Murphy, fairly Irish name, but yeah, so he was the most decorated soldier of the Americans in the Second World War. Audie Murphy later became a film star, so look him up as well if you're interested in military history. Here we have the white cap cover for the peak cap for the military police when they were on public duty, so we'll put that to one side. That's also a reproduction. We have an original M37 basic pouch, ammo pouch, whatever you want to call them. So that's ideal as well for my British collection. I already have two, but I nearly have enough now that I could be starting to put together a second set of webbing. So that's perfect for that. Then here we have, don't kill me now YouTube, this is not a politically correct name, but it is known as a housewife, and it is a housewife sewing kit. When I was in the Irish Army, we were issued one, different type obviously, but we were still issued housewives. It's a funny thing to say, but yeah, we were all issued a housewife. This is a British one from the Second World War. I have done a video on it before. I am putting together World War II soldiers hold all, so that's perfect for that. Then we have a M1911, I think, webbing type shovel holder, or entrenching tool cover for the entrenching tool. Here we have some other little items. Now there are some reproductions and some original things here. This is a very interesting item. I don't know if the camera can bring this, take this up, pick that up. But what this actually is, it is an ID card for a gentleman for the British Legion. And what the British Legion is, they are an organisation that is set up to physically, mentally and sometimes financially help British veterans. Now, not just British veterans, anybody that has served in the British Armed Forces from any country. You could be an American and have served in the British Army, an Irishman and have served in the British Army, and that includes Army, Navy and Air Corps. You're entitled to join the British Legion. Now the interesting thing about this, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but just here on the date you have the 21st of the 7th 1948. I don't know, will the camera bring that up? So that just indicates that this ID card was issued to a gentleman that either fought, more than likely in the Second World War by that date, or possibly even the First World War. So that's a nice little bit of history. I'm not going to show you the address, I'm not even sure, but the branch that it was issued to was in Belfast. So it's another little interesting piece. No, we'll just go through some of these rather quickly. We have a reproduction, wartime cookbook, how to cook with rations. A good way to tell if it's reproduction, there's a barcode on the back. Anything with a barcode on the back is a reproduction. They didn't have barcodes in the 40s. So that's another good way to tell. Here we have another cookbook to cook with the rations, the way that the things were being rationed. Now this is an original, I believe, and what this is for members of the American Armed Forces visiting New York City. So it basically tells them where to go, what not to do, how to navigate the subway, and then here at the back you have centres for like YMCA's, things like that, men's clubs that they could sleep in or get accommodation at. So that's another nice little item. Then we have two more reproductions. We have a book for American soldiers visiting Great Britain. Obviously, when soldiers go to a different country, you have a clash of cultures. You have one culture meeting another culture. The Americans were known to be paid better than the British soldiers. There is actually an article or a piece in this book basically not to be buying British soldiers drink because they might not be able to afford to buy you back a drink. And then here you have a table on British currency, so how they can basically decipher American dollars to, because at that time in England you had pounds, pence and shillings. And then here you have just a German language guide for American troops. Another interesting little items, pocket fillers to have. So the next little bag of stuff we have some cigarettes, cigarette cards, other small little items. I'm not going to go through them all. So here we have Players Navy cut cigarettes. So that's one item. We have a pack of Woodbines. Another little item. Star cigarettes, I've never heard of them. I don't know if they're still around, but we have some Star cigarettes. Then we have some reproductions. These are Camels. Then we have cigarette cards, so you have all the famous generals, things like that in this book of cards. Then in this one you have British regiments and their groups. So that's pretty much what's in there. There's just more cigarettes, reproduction cigarettes, matchboxes, things like that. Now this is a little famous little item. Known as a cricket. Was issued to American soldiers prior to Normandy, airborne soldiers. The idea, some general officer, whoever, figured out, realised we're going to be dropping soldiers all over Normandy. The chances of them getting misdropped, coming in contact with other American soldiers, we're going to end up with what's called in these days as a blue on blue, friendly forces shooting at other friendly forces. We need a way, because we can't have code names or code words, because one group will have a different code word than another. You can't have nick numbers, what's known as a nick number. So the nick number could be 10. So I shout 4, they answer me back with 6. The number comes to 10, I know they're friendly. So that's what they come up with this idea. So the idea with this, with the cricket, was that one click would be answered by 2 clicks. So that's how it was supposed to work. Now, if I have it here handy, I do. The urban myth or the legend is, now YouTube, this is a Denex. It doesn't work. Calm down. One click, as I said, was answered by 2 clicks. The American troops were issued with the Car 98, which had a bolt. So remember what I said? 1 click was answered by 2 clicks. Pardon me. I'll do that again. So 1 click was answered by 2 clicks. Sound similar? 1 click. That's the myth, or that's the legend, that the reason they didn't use them after Normandy was because they sounded like the bolt of the Car 98. So, just an interesting fact for you. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I was told. Now, we have 2 more last reproduction items in here. This is the M29 jacket. You see these throughout the whole of the war. This one is badged to the 2nd Infantry Division, corporal, full corporal. Although the Americans didn't have lance corporals, but full corporal. Also a reproduction, I believe. Although it is marked and named here at the front, or at the top. But I don't know if that was the young chap that marked it himself. And the reason that I don't think it's an original is because, another thing to look for when you're looking at uniforms and stuff, look for the labels, and if they have a do not tumble dry label on it, chances are it's a reproduction. So, doesn't matter. As I said, nice little jacket to have. Very good to have walking around the shore or whatever to keep yourself warm. So that's that jacket. And then the next jacket, I believe, is original. Bar this little badge, but don't worry about that. This is an Ike jacket. And an Ike jacket was like a dress jacket that they would have worn when they were on weekend leave and stuff like that. Now this one is badged. I'm not sure what the badge is. It has been hand stitched. There are a couple of moth holes on it. There's one big moth hole on the back. Now this badge here is very interesting. This was issued to American soldiers when they were returning from the war. Obviously there was rationing, food coupons, clothes coupons, things like that. This badge was to indicate that the soldier had done his service, was discharged from the army, but was still entitled to wear his uniform, because he may have not been able to get his ration book or whatever, so he could afford civilian clothes. So this was to show that he could still wear his uniform. Now there is a big moth hole on the back of it, but I have treated it and everything is fine. I can't find any labels on the inside of it or markings, but I do think it is original. It does have the wear marks, the things that you look for when you look for original items. So that's pretty much the whole collection. Some very, very interesting items in it, some nice little items in it. So if you like what we provide here at Shanahan Militaria, please like, please subscribe, please tune in for the next video. And if you want to get in contact with the channel, the email will be at the top of the video description as always. So thank you.